It's not to read someone's book on, I have spent 4 hours every day on my knees. Well, your personality type, you guys, plays into that. So when you know yourself, you can begin leading yourself. So for years, I've been kind of this, gosh, I'm horrible. Lord, I want time with you and my devotion life. Well, I mean, I read old dead guys' books, not the dead guys we were talking about last night, but like Andrew Murray, and I read those kind of books. That fuels me up. And in my quiet time, it's probably about 30 minutes in the morning of just really connecting with the Lord. But then I do it all day long, and I have a lot of my time happens in the evening, where I just get pumped up and recharged on the Lord. So it's just different. I've finally got to a place where I'm comfortable with that. But I'm having to learn how to recharge, not just my time with the Lord, but my recharge for me personally. So, and I'm okay with it. Like, there's times where I need a massage about 3 or 4 times a year. I just have to go get a massage, and because I get tense, and so I have to, it's kind of, releases that. Well, there's a know yourself to lead yourself, and that should be your goal. Know yourself, know your wiring, and lead yourself so that you're getting recharged. And then help other people do the same thing. My wife's an introvert. I know that about her. I know she needs alone time. So I'm always, hey, hon, go connect, go be by yourself. I know when Mama's happy, we're all happy. So go get time alone. Do what you need to do to recharge. So when you do it, and when you put it all together, it makes a lot of sense. So here's the gear order. What I realize is that there's a natural gear order. The gear order is really important. What I realize is that my natural gear order, what I really do is fourth is the one I do the most. I go from fourth, then I'm a second, that's my next best one, then third, then fifth, then first. That's my natural gear progression. It's not what I want it to be per se, it's just the way, that's reality. Now, a few years ago, second was way down, but because I've been really focused on it, second has come up. All right, so I want you to look at that real quick. Give you about 60 seconds and figure out your gear order. Not what you want it to be, what it really is. So again, mine was 4, 2, 5, 3, 1. Or 4, 2, 3, 5, 1. What is yours? All right, so we're going to go through this. How many of you, fifth gear is your first one, the one that you're best at and you do the most? How many of you are fifth gear people? Raise your hand. All right, fifth gear, good. All right, how many of you are fourth gear people? So that's your dominant gear you stay in. Yep. How many of you are third gear people? Party animals. Yes. That was good. How many of you are second gear people? You make us feel bad because you're second gear, you're connectors. Wow, seriously? 1, 2? All right, good. And how many of you are monks? First gear? Yes. The first gear is your main, right? So when you put them all together, you understand that that's your gear order. So the last 2 are the ones that you have the hardest time with. Now this is not like Strength Finders, where Strength Finders always tells you to focus on only what you're good at and deflect or delegate the rest. This is actually really important that you work on the bottom 2. So which ones are your bottom 2? So for me, they're first and fifth. Well, I had to write a book. I wrote it in 45 days. For me, deadlines they forced me to fifth gear. So I blocked fifth gear time on my calendar, and I actually wrote it fifth gear. We often tell people, even at work, print a sign that says fifth, teach the 5 years to the team, put a big sign, put it on the door so everyone knows, so you won't feel bad and they understand it's really important. When I'm in fifth gear, it benefits all of us. And I need to focus on this project. So I put a big 5 on my door, or when my door is completely closed, I'm in fifth gear. And then you just hammer it out. And people know it. Like, oh, he's in fifth gear. He's not just ignoring us, or he's in fifth gear. So it's an important thing. Or if you need to learn how to recharge first gear, ask someone. Find someone who has the same personality type. How do you recharge? I really need help doing that. Some of you are so responsible that you're responsibility driven, you have a hard time recharging yourself because you feel it's selfish. But it's almost like the metaphor of the axe. If you don't sharpen the axe, it's harder to cut trees, right? So we've got to sharpen the axe, so we've got to stay recharged. So whatever it is for you, the bottom two, those are what you need to work on. Those are opportunities. Now, where do you slide under stress? Under extreme stress, where do you go to? So for me, I go to fifth. I go and scurry in fifth gear. So under stress, I'm like, oh, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done. So I go up and I stay in that gear. What we found is usually you'll either slide all the way to the top or go all the way to the bottom and crash. By the way, crashing is not recharging. So let me clarify that. Some of you have a motto, work hard, play hard. What I think that motto means is I'm going to rationalize my tendency to be stuck in fourth and fifth gear as a workaholic, and then I justify by crashing, by spending money on my family, on trips. So, and then I tell them, guys, just been working hard so we can have this. Or you work so hard that you're not recharged along the way. You crash, which is selfishness, because everyone in your family has to deal with your crashing. And then it's like they tiptoe around. Yeah, he's really hard, kids. Let's let him be alone. And so the kids, and it's all awkward for 2-3 days. And then you finally get back on your feet again, and you go off and you do it for another quarter. Anyone done that? It's not meant to be that way. There's a consistency that happens. There's a gear change that needs to take place. Let me show you the gear tendencies. It's to know your setting. Now I know that some of you wake up at 4, some of you wake up at different times, but here's the deal. We all wake up, right? Everyone wake up today? Some of you. We all eat. We all sleep. Hopefully we all shower sometime. And then there's, certain things. But when you look at that order, and again, this is not your schedule, it's the concept. There's a natural gear order. So when I wake up, that's first gear. I've come out of first gear, recharge, but there's a need for first gear connection, recharging with the Lord. There's a connection that may take place with someone, whatever degree, or maybe not, but I'm just saying don't start in fourth. Really challenge you, don't start in fourth. Put some recharge in front. Then you go and drive. For me, I've made my drive time recharge time. So I'll listen to things that empower me, excite me, praise music, to listening to some speaker or something where it's motivating. In the early mornings, I don't have anyone to call anyway, so I'm not usually in fourth gear. Work is fourth and fifth gear. There's times when you need to tell your team, let's go. Guys, come on. Break's over. Fourth gear. It's awesome to work. Fourth and fifth gear is appropriate. So there's a natural time for it. There's a time for everything. Fourth and fifth gear is great. But there's also a time when you're like, okay, I've been working solid in fourth and fifth gear. If you're an introvert over lunch, go do first gear, take a walk. Let people know, I need some first gear time. Go recharge for 30 minutes. Come back, you're back, ready for fourth and fifth gear again. Are you guys getting this? You start playing this out into your family, into your cultures, into your team, and teach this to teams. I taught a dental office the other day. They had 20 people in their dental office, and they realized that they don't do, they treat their patients really well, but they don't treat each other very well. And their culture was declining. So we use this for culture. So what happens then is third gear is really designed, it's bedside manner. And hey, how you doing, Mr. Jones? Good to see you. How's your family? Third gear. Fourth gear gets into the work. Fifth gear is root canal. So, but they realized that they weren't doing second gear connecting or third gear social together as a group. So they added Wednesdays and Fridays for third gear time. And then they're working together on connecting better in second gear. But you can drop it into your culture in any way possible. So what I've started doing is, years ago, I started tricking myself again by creating markers along in my life. So let's put that back up there. So the markers for me were, when I drove home, I realized that it wasn't helpful because I was staying in 4th and 5th gear all the way into my house, and I couldn't disconnect. So I found a Quick Trip gas station sign 2 miles away from my house, which in Atlanta was 10 minutes traffic. So, you got 10 minutes, 2 miles, 10 minutes. So you get 10 minutes to shift, and I would begin shifting. So I used the marker as a drop call zone. And I stop, I get off the phone, I'm done with any phone conversations, and I start praying for my family, and I start downshifting. So, Lord, what do you have for Kelly? What do you want for the kids? What are we doing tonight? I'm getting my mind around. Then I take that little phone, little distractor, and I put it in my briefcase, and I leave my briefcase in my car. So that when I came home, instead of me stiff-arming my kids, they'd see this. Guys, come in. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? I'm connecting with my kids. It took me 30 days to get my kids back. And I got my kids back, which led us to this journey where we moved to London, lived in a monastery for 2 years. We had leased an old monastery, and we used it for people to come and retreat and recharge. And that's why we moved to London, to expand our work overseas. It was all because of this exercise. Learning how to be in the right gear at the right time. I was undermining my influence with my family. If you want to know why you're disconnected with your kids, you're in 4th and 5th too long. They never see you in 2nd gear. Could be. There could be other issues. Maybe you're not recharged. So using a trigger point was so helpful. Even more, I use a trigger point for time on my computer. I'd use the 58s. So if I had a meeting at 3, I kept noticing all my employees in Atlanta, they'd come and they'd go, oh, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you. I know you're so busy. I don't want to. And I'm like, I have an open door policy. Come on, guys. Why? What's the deal? As I'm doing this, I have an open door policy. No, what's the deal? Hang on a second. Okay, what is it? What do you have? That's what I'm projecting. So that projection of communicating or lack of connectivity was causing all types of problems simply because I wasn't doing 3rd gear. So when I got to 2:58, if I had a 3 o'clock meeting, I downshift into 3rd gear. I then meet with, Mike walks in my office. Mike, hey, how's it going? How's the weekend? How you doing? I'm in 3rd gear. We talk a little bit. We shift together into 4th gear. So my wife and I have been practicing this. We've been practicing this. A funny story with Mike. So Mike was coming into Atlanta. One of our first times we were around each other. And we weren't working together yet. He was just coming to one of our events. And he was so excited to tell me some things that had been happening in Albuquerque. But it was a 3rd gear setting. We were at a social setting. And we were all just kind of, mingling, talking. And Mike walks in and he just goes, hey man, I'm so excited now, Albuquerque. I met this guy, and some great things are going on. And I look at Mike, and I look around, and I go, dude. That's all I had to say. And he goes, right. Hey, how you doing? It was awesome. So what we've done here is basically given you a sign language. Created a sign language that you start using to start changing the way that you connect with people. Connect with the Lord, connect with your family. So you can start being present again, or maybe for the first time. Being present. So let me go back to this right here. And start smoothing out your social, emotional intelligence, your social aptitude, so that people want to be around you, and your influence rises, and your respect goes up, and the drama goes down, and all of a sudden you start having conversations with people you never knew existed, and it becomes more fun.